I know I've had on this shirt in a couple videos. Mind your business. Today we are going to go over a couple of different protective styles. Yeah, the difference between I'm gonna talk about the difference between a protective style and a non-protective style. Yeah. If you want to see the difference between a protective style and a non-protective style, or if you want to know the real way that you're supposed to wear hair extensions to keep your hair safe and to retain length and what makes the protective style a real protective style, then keep on watching because we're hopping right into that.
So before we get started, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and click that bell notification so you're notified every time I post another video. This video is about 5 years old, and at this point I am in my old studio prepping my clients' hair extensions, right? So originally, well, you can see what color her hair extensions are, and I am doing a weaving technique just to give her some caramel like highlights. All right, so that is all I'm doing. Now today in this video we are going to be talking about protective styles and how you can use protective styles to give your hair a break just for about a month, or possibly a little longer than that, but we'll talk about that in a second. And this way you can give your scalp the chance that it needs to reset itself from different hair shaft disorders, like, or different not even necessarily hair shaft disorders, but follicle disorders. So normally weaves are okay, but I don't recommend them if you have a hair shaft disorder. If you have a hair shaft disorder, the last thing you want to do is get extensions because you are going to wrap up that hair shaft disorder, and you want that hair shaft to be really free. You want the cuticle to be really free. So if you have a healthy hair shaft, hair extensions are a great way to give your hair a break and get some length retention. But it is imperative that you do it the right way, because if you do not put your hair extensions in the right way, what ends up happening is, instead of your hair extensions causing you to retain length, your hair extensions will actually make your hair shaft weaker, and it will end up causing you to lose length instead of retaining length. And it's the same thing for you leaving the extensions in for a long period of time. So at this point I've shampooed her hair extensions, and I use my favorite conditioner for hair extensions, silicone mix, which we'll talk about in another video, but use that for her hair extensions because they are my favorite for hair extensions. So again, we'll talk about that later, but let's talk about the scalp. It is so imperative that this never happens, that you never allow your hair to get this dirty, because when you do, you allow the natural bacteria and natural yeast that is on the scalp to accumulate. Every time I talk about the hair being dirty, people who learned at YouTube University come on my channel and they'll be like, there's no bacteria on the scalp, it's yeast. Well, you guys, there's yeast, and there are multiple forms of bacteria, multiple forms, not just one, not just two. Your body is a city, and the bacteria, one of the bacteria that lives on the scalp is a colonizing bacteria, meaning that the more oil you put on it, because oil is that bacteria's favorite food, the more oil you put on it, the more it multiplies. And when you're younger, your follicles can fight it off a little bit more. Your immune system is a little stronger, but the older you get, the harder it is for your immune system to fight off different ailments that are not that big or not that detrimental to your health, and your scalp and your hair health is not that detrimental to your health. So if you are doing things that cause your body to overpower or overdrive your immune system, then your hair shaft, if there are other things going on in your body, like let's say your diet isn't right, the last place that your body is going to send those fighters is to the scalp. scalp is going to be sending the fibers to your heart, to your lungs, your respiratory system, things like that. So this was my favorite scalp scrub back in the day. I'll leave a link for it below if I can find it. Most people say that they can't find it. They say that it's sold out wherever they go, but I'll try to find the links and give it to you. This is a detoxifying scrub. Love it, love it, love it. It's by Kimbra and it was with black activated charcoal. Love this scrub and it was amazing. Now this video is sped up, so the shampoo was a lot longer than that, and I didn't add the whole shampoo, but I went ahead and made sure that I clarify her scalp. Now, if you are doing a protective style, it is imperative that your scalp is clean and your hair shaft is completely clean and actually protected, because most of the time, the way that we put in protective styles makes protective styles more damaging than protective, and it makes it so the longer the extensions are in your head, the more damaging they actually are. So I want you to really think about that before you put your hair extensions in. Letting your hair air dry and then putting hair extensions in your hair, worst thing you can do. You're gonna have massive breakage, massive shedding when you take those extensions out, and we'll talk about that in another part coming soon. So again, shampooing her hair, really good. Coming soon, I am going to give you guys 2 full shampoo videos, one where I only talk for like a couple of seconds and one where I talk for the majority of the video. Now, she does not have a hair shaft disorder, but we're making sure that she doesn't develop a scalp disorder. We are in Las Vegas, Nevada. It was the summertime, and sometimes it gets to be up to 120 degrees. So I'm going to explain to you how this helps. But first, we're going to talk about me. What you're looking at is not my underarms, but this is what hydrogenated super Ativa looks like. I talk about HS all the time, and this is where you get outbreaks. And yes, I get outbreaks in all of these places except for on my booty cheeks. Thank God it ain't came on my booty cheeks. Oh my God. Lord, I got too much booty for that. So this is what it looks like. And guess what? These same bumps come in the scalp. Yes, ma'am. So the part where I have a shaved side, that is the part where I decided the next time I got an outbreak, I was just going to leave it so you can see it. Do you see that open flesh? When I was pregnant with my children, that happened. Now, this is where my hair is currently after my very last outbreak, and I am so freaking proud of myself, but I decided to protect myself because hydrogenated super Ativa is a thing. I'm going to make sure that I do protective styles, and we're going to talk about that today. But for you, this is the natural bacteria that lives on the human scalp. So when you get a protective style, just because your hair is in braids or in a weave does not mean your scalp does not have to stay clean. Your scalp and your face need to be clean at all times. And even when you have hair extensions, there is still a certain pattern and routine that you need to follow, because the same exact sebaceous glands that you have on your face, you have on your scalp. So just like that little pimple that you guys saw on her face, well, guess what? That same exact thing happens within the human scalp. But within the human scalp, instead of it looking like that, it actually looks exactly the same way, but it is called folliculitis. And this is what folliculitis looks like. So it's really important that we understand that just because your hair is in a protective style does not mean that your hair is protected. And even with me dealing with hydrogenated super Ativa, having a trigger spot on my temples, that is something that I'm cautious of. But you guys will notice that my extensions are not on my temples at all. Now, this is not a edge control that I am using on her hair. It is a certain type of product that you can braid with, right? And this product that you can braid with is a product that I am not putting on her scalp. Even though the braids may look tight on the video, that is just the way that the camera picks it up. My braiding is not tight in any way, shape, or form. I ask my clients 50 million times, like literally 50 million times, does this feel okay? okay? Is this all right? Does this feel okay? And as you can see, those very, 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 very like baby hairs, I never braid those up, ever, ever, ever. But at this point, the only thing that is on her hair is the leave-in conditioner. I'm not going in putting a bunch of oils, putting a bunch of butters on her hair or anything. And her hair is properly protected. The braiding hair that I am using around her temples is a braiding hair that is 100% human. It is clean, you guys, and sanitized. And the reason that I use braiding hair around the perimeter is because I want to evenly distribute the weight, right? I don't want her natural hair holding on to the weight of the closure and the extensions by itself. As I go around the rest of her head, I don't add braiding hair everywhere, but around the temples and around her hairline always, and that is for all clients. Yes, she did get a basic trim right before her hair extensions were put in, and she has a very, very simplistic regimen to follow, and she already knows we will not be going that long without washing our hair again. Like, she already has a whole plan. But let me tell you this, even though I tell you guys the way that I feel about doing hair and the way that people used to be, all that stuff, you guys, when I say that I absolutely love the clients that you guys see on my channel, that's what I mean. If they were a client that irritated me, I did not pull my camera out because I was blocking them. I was too busy blocking them, making sure they didn't book me again. So any customer that you guys see a video of here on my channel is one that I used to love. It's one that was one of my favorites. It's one that if I wanted to do hair again, I would call them. Okay, so just know that any face that you see here on my channel is the face of a woman who, if I started doing hair again and they said, Cian, can you book me? I would say, yes, girl, yes. So just know that. I hope that that makes sense. When I say that clients were irritating, none of the irritating clients make it to my channel. I don't want a memory of them. They were irritating. I wanted them out, out, out. I didn't want to remember. So again, now I am braiding her hair, and like I said, even though it may look tight, it is not tight at all in any way, shape, or form. And in this case, when I put her hair extensions in, there is a certain regimen and a certain pattern that she follows whenever she is at home, right? On a weekly basis, there is a certain pattern that she follows to clean her scalp. Now, I always get certain questions here on my channel, like when I provide certain information, like, okay, well, tell us exactly what to do. So there are hundreds of videos here on my channel where I have provided that type of information, but from here on out, we know, the culture of everything right now. And to be honest, people aren't very integral and people don't give credit. And over the years, there has been so many different things that have been stolen, so much of my content that's stolen, so many different techniques that people name now that were taken from my videos. And it's okay, but to protect myself, I put all of the things that I share on my website. So if you guys want to know how to get to certain types of information, if you guys want to know how to get to certain types of information, then make sure you check the links in the description box below and check the playlists that are down there. I'm getting playlists together for you guys to make sure you can get to all of my previous videos, right? So now I am using a foam wrap, and this foam wrap is going to help me separate her layers. We didn't do her parting that wide. She didn't want her parting that wide because she wanted to use the closure for a while, and the more you pluck it, sometimes depending on what kind of hair you're using, and this hair wasn't that expensive, it'll end up making the closure not last as long. So the technique that I am using to sew this hair in her head is going to protect her hair. I am using a silk nylon thread, so it is not a cotton thread. It's going around her hair, around the braid. It's not going through it or causing any type of damage at all. The track is being tucked under the braid, so that way if she lifts it up or goes to put it in a ponytail, you will not be able to tell, right? I also do the flip over method whenever it comes to doing hair extensions. I never really cut the wefts, and I made sure that unless my clients like absolutely needed it, or unless they had some type of balding problem and I needed to compensate the space, for example, if there was like a bald spot and there was nothing for me to sew the track to, that's the only time that I use a weaving net. Because she has a regimen where she does certain things to her scalp, right, when she has her hair extensions, which is the same type of pattern and routine I recommend for people who have locks and things of that nature to keep their scalps clean. Then she doesn't have a hairnet on, because if she has on a net, there's no way that she's going to be able to get to her scalp properly the way that she needs to through those patterns. So again, as long as your hair is properly prepared, the bonds are properly set, you are fine doing hair extensions. The thing that makes hair extensions a problem, the thing that causes follicle inflammation and scalp inflammation and all of that jazz whenever it comes to hair extensions, is you leaving the hair extensions in for too long. The average skin cell turnover cycle is 28 days, and the skin cell turnover cycle happens every 28 days because the dead skin on your scalp, it dies, it falls off, and it makes its way up for new hair and brand new skin, right? So the longer you have your hair in, the more hair growth cycles your scalp goes through without being able to release the dead skin. For example, if you keep your weave in for 3 months, you have three skin cell turnover cycles. So that means by the time you take that weave out, you have 3 layers of dead skin that you have to exfoliate from the scalp. So is it going to be extremely detrimental? No, but as soon as you take that weave out, you'll need to do an exfoliation. You need to take a break for at least 3 months, because you will not remove 3 months of dead skin with one shampoo. So this is why you can't, or you shouldn't, get a weave and then put it right back in the same day. You need to give it at least a week or at least 2 weeks to air out, right? So at this point, we are putting body waves in her hair. My clients didn't like to keep their curls looking like curls. They always wanted them to be like combed out, to be like a body wave, not even like a full curl, right? So in this case, I'm just going through with not even a heat protectant. This is more so like a holding spray, on the holding spray side of things. And I'm going through her entire head and going ahead and putting these curls in, and we are talking, and every time I'm finishing up a hairstyle with my clients, I was just giving her the run through, the what to do's, the what not to do's, and then we were going over when we take the weave out, and she was cool with it. It was not a problem. This is my boo. Again, every client that you guys see pop up on my channel was one of my favorites. So at this point, we are using a very, very low comedogenic oil. So when I say a low comedogenic oil, this is something that is like a 3 to 4 on the comedogenic scale, and this is why we're using a very, very small amount. And she is very aware that at night before she goes to bed, she is to remove it, and it's super easy to do because it's just a little piece of her edges and it's right there on the side. Now, some clients did want their edges out, and I was like, hey, I'm not doing that, because then you're gonna be a bald head skittle diddle. And we're not about to do that. I'm not about to be irresponsible. So let me know what you guys think about her hair in the description box below. I love the way that her lowlights came out. They were super cute, her lowlights and her highlights, even though you could only really see the highlights. It came out really, really good. Let me know what you think about hair extensions in the description box below, and let me know if you want me to go deeper into hair extensions and the do's and the don'ts. But most of the do's and the don'ts I pretty much covered everything here. So I have a couple of more hair hair extension videos in my repertoire to go back and look at. So if you guys want to go deeper into protective styles or deeper into hair extensions, then let me know. There are people or clients, hundreds of clients, thousands of clients that I had that were able to retain length and grow their hair out thick and beautiful with hair extensions as long as they're done the right way. Hair extensions do not damage hair. People putting in hair extensions wrong damage hair, and people leaving hair extensions in way too long damages hair. You guys, I absolutely love closures, and I've said this on my channel forever, like for years. I've always loved closures way more than I love frontals. They're easier, they last longer, the maintenance is more simplistic. Love it, love it, love it. So again, I have quite a few of these videos in my repertoire, right? Like I said, the clients that you see here on my channel now are the ones that I loved. These were the women that made it so hard for me to leave. The ones that were like, oh, I can't do this no more, they are not on my channel. You don't ever get to see them, ever. You guys don't ever get to see them, but you can like feel her energy through the screen. This was my boo, okay? If you like videos like this, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you comment, let me know your favorite part, and make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. Bye.